is good, my Zillas? We're gonna go ahead and install the 4-inch drive shaft sold through CZP. This drive shaft is made by Inland Empire. It's right behind me, and as you can tell, I'm already underneath the car. We already have the exhaust off. This is gonna be a pretty much straightforward install. All you need is a floor jack, 2 jack stands, and a few tools from the local hardware store. So let's quit the talking and get to installing. This drive shaft right here will help accelerate your car much faster, just as much as you hitting the like button can help accelerate the spread of my video for the YouTube algorithm. All right, so the tools needed to do this job, I obviously have a baby Ugga Dugga and a big Ugga Dugga. You don't need these. These are helpful though. You'll need a 14, a 17, a 19, a 10, and a 12 millimeter socket. I also have them short here, 17 and a 19. You'll need a torque wrench, 17 millimeter open end wrench, 19 millimeter open end wrench. I use a 3/4 because I didn't have a 19. An extension and a drive ratchet here, and a tray to hold your hardware and tools. Links are going to be in the description to purchase any of these tools that you need to do this job. You're obviously going to lift up the car and remove whichever exhaust you currently have on the car. My exhaust is a Greddy exhaust. Yours might be different, but you're gonna go ahead and just remove the exhaust. I currently have open down pipes right now with turn downs. Lucky for me, I didn't have to remove the exhaust right now. After that, the next step to do is to remove these 4 bolts that are holding this this channel brace that's here, and that is being held by 4 12 millimeter bolts. I'm gonna use my little baby Ugga Dugga and a 12 millimeter socket. Have any spacers there or washers. I'm using them as spacers to clear my 3-inch exhaust. I retain all my tools and all my hardware inside this metal tray so nothing gets lost. I will have links in the description for this and any other tools that you might need to do this job or any job in general. Now we're going to switch over to the 10 millimeter socket to continue removing this exhaust shield. You got 1 bolt here and 1 bolt there. That's 1 exhaust shield off. Now we have this exhaust shield back here. There is a total of 4 visible nuts that you want to remove. And yes, I am using safety glasses. I'm so used to using safety glasses now that I work around metal or anything in general. Like underneath the car, things fall in your eyes all the time. You only get 1 pair, so take care of them. So now the drive shaft is completely visible. So as you can see, the OEM drive shaft is clearly visible now, and you have a carrier bearing in the center, which makes it a 2-piece drive shaft, and it's very prone to twisting and breaking. All right, so now with the exhaust shield set aside, we're gonna go ahead and remove these 6 bolts and nuts. You're gonna have a few of them that are 19s, and then a few of them that are 17s. So be mindful, make sure it sits on there right. These are 6 points, so all you need is a 6-point socket. Let's go ahead and start with this guy here. I'm gonna use the big Ugga Dugga. Normally I have probably a little more torque than this. This thing's pretty weak, so let me just give it a shot before I use some elbow grease. So 17 millimeter in the back, 17 in the front. I'm gonna use a small extension. Here I go. Put the nut back on the bolt. This one here is a 19 head with a 17 nut. Now you might be thinking, how are you gonna get the ones on the top? That's a good question. Let's go ahead and put the car in neutral and spin the drive shaft. The car is probably gonna make a beeping sound when you put it in neutral and close the door. So just put it in neutral really quick, get underneath the car and just spin the drive shaft. And now you just have to put the car back in park. All right, same thing. This one here is the 19. The 19 millimeters are the ones going through the 3 holes here connected to the front of the drive shaft here, and they seem to be a little shorter. Then you have the longer bolt, which seems to be going first through the rubber damper here, out through the receiver of the diff itself. Now with that off, now we're moving on to the carrier bearing here. Remember to hold the drive shaft because they might fall a little now once you remove these nuts. These are 14 millimeter nuts. So this part here, you want to slide back. You're going to move forward towards the transmission. Grab that end here and slide it aft. Gonna remove it off the spline. Now carefully remove this from underneath the car. Here you have the comparison between the two. Look how skinny this is compared to this massive 4-inch one. This here is a weak link. They bust, they break in two. I've seen people actually twist them on the ends here as well, or there. It's just very thin if you launch really hard. I've been fortunate enough not to twist and damage my stock drive shaft, but sooner or later it was gonna happen because I'm launching extremely hard. So thanks to the Racebox, the launch control is very good. The car has been very happy. Let's go ahead and get these on the scale to see the weight difference. Yeah, so the factory one is 27.2 pounds. Okay, so CZP claims that this drive shaft weighs 19 pounds. Let's go ahead and see the true weight. Just short under 19 pounds, and that's including hardware as well, so that's pretty good. So you're just gonna line up the splines and it should slide right in. So now what you want to do is line up these 3 holes from the flange here, from the receiving part of the diff. You can do that by just simply moving the wheel and getting the holes to line up, and use the supplied hardware and put in the bolting first, and then the lock washer in the back along with the self-locking nut. Now I'm going to tighten just a little here, just a little there, and just a little up top. I'm not going to go full blast and tighten one side only. I'm going to go ahead and put the car in neutral and spin the drive shaft. And now to torque these babies, I'm going to torque them at 65 inch-pounds. There it is, guys. It's installed. It was a very easy install. I'm super happy with this. It's massive. The 3.5-inch drive shafts are rated for 1500 plus horsepower, so I can imagine the 4-inch just holds way more. I'm never gonna hit 1500 horsepower on this car. I don't know, maybe in the future. I am thinking about doing an engine build for 1000 horsepower, so at least the drive shaft is ready for this. Just in case you wanted to go kind of pro-ish and safe, just in case this drive shaft does freaking break somewhere and it doesn't fly into the cabin and kill you. I think some drag strips, NHAR rules, they do want a drive shaft loop there anyway. But that looks like a good mounting point for one. Hopefully somebody can make a bracket there one day. So you pretty much just want to install the heat shields back on, take it for a test drive, and see if everything is golden. I'm super excited to see what this thing does on the track now with the drive shaft and the rotors. I've been modifying this car little by little, keeping track of every single mod and how it improves in the quarter mile. And I can tell you guys that everything that I've been doing is making a big difference, especially when everything comes put together. So if you want to keep following my journey, my channel to be the fastest stock turbo Q, I currently hold a couple records, and I am about to beat the stock turbo record. I have a feeling that I am. So make sure to keep it locked into my channel, subscribe, hit the bell notification, and watch these videos here. Peace, my Zillas.